Most Android phones look pretty much the same these days, right? They have glass on the front and back that curves on the sides, but the Xiaomi 14 Pro is different. It has a more square shape with thick frames that remind me of the iPhone. The 6.73-inch screen is awesome too. It's super bright and sharp with 2.5K OLED and 3000 nits of brightness. That's the best in the market right now. The Leica branded camera systems has three 50-megapixel lenses, but the main one has a special feature. It has a physical shutter that can change the aperture from 1.4 to 4.0. That means you can adjust how much light you want to let in. The other two lenses are for wide-angle and zoom shots. If you want to take awesome pictures in bright places, the Xiaomi 14 Pro's camera is perfect for you. It has a super cool image sensor and a lens that can change how much light it lets in. That means your photos will look sharp and colorful. It can shoot up to 8K videos at 24 FPS. The camera also has a feature that makes your videos look smooth and steady, even if you're moving around a lot. That's great for people who like to film exciting stuff like sports or adventures. This is a beast of a phone. It has the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip, which is super fast and can do some cool AI stuff. You can get it with 12 or 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it's water and dust proof. There's a 4,880 milliampere cell inside. It also charges wirelessly at 50 watt, which is awesome. The phone runs on HyperOS, which is Xiaomi's new software that works with all kinds of devices. The best things about the 14 Pro are the chip, the screen, and the camera. They're all top-notch. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is one of Apple's top-notch phones. It has a shiny metal frame and a smooth glass back and front. The front glass is super strong and can handle some drops. The phone has speaker and mic grills on the bottom and the lightning port that won't go away. The design is very Apple-like and cool. It can handle dust and water too. The iPhone 14 Pro Max has a big 6.7-inch screen with 120 Hz that looks amazing. It's an OLED screen with a super sharp resolution, and it shows colors really well. The other thing is how bright the screen can get. It can go up to 1000 nits normally, but if you're outside in the sun, it can crank up to 2000 nits. That means you can see everything clearly even on the brightest days. Everything feels bigger and better on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Playing games, checking Twitter, watching YouTube, browsing the web, you name it. One thing I really dig is the dynamic island. It's a black bar at the top of the screen that replaces the old notch. It sounds silly, but it's actually super cool and makes me wonder what else Apple can do with it. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is a great performer, as you would expect from an iPhone. It has the new A16 Bionic chip, which is faster and more efficient than the previous models. The A16 chip can handle any app or game you want to use, and it also has 6 GB of RAM for smooth multitasking. Apple's cameras have been awesome for a while, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max makes them even better. Apple finally upgraded to a 48-megapixel main camera with a big aperture and sensor shift stabilization. That means you can use it as a 2x zoom lens too. There is also a 12-megapixel telephoto camera for 3x zoom and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera. The selfie camera is also 12 megapixel, and it can autofocus for the first time on an iPhone. And that's not all. The iPhone 14 Pro Max has a new photonic engine that makes the colors and textures look amazing in low light. The main camera takes stunning photos in any light. The colors are vibrant, the details are sharp, and the blur is natural. The ultra-wide camera is also awesome. It lets you capture more of the scene without losing quality. It doesn't make things look distorted at the edges, which is nice. And the best part is the macro mode. It automatically turns on when you get close to something. The 12-megapixel telephoto camera has been a pleasant surprise. It may not seem as impressive as the 30x and 100x zoom on a Galaxy S22 Ultra, but it works very well. It lets you zoom in 3x and capture your subject with great detail and color. This device has a 4,323 milliampere battery. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is a great choice for anyone who loves a big screen. The cameras are amazing, especially for video. You can capture smooth action shots and cinematic effects with ease. The battery life is also impressive, lasting longer than most phones.